Okay, so now that you've learned kind of the bass, a few tactics for doing some cool things with your left hand, and you've learned the basics of these 1, 1, 3, 5, 3, 5, 1, 5, 1, 3 chord inversions, let's add what can be called color, okay? When you see a chord on a chord chart that says C2, now you know that those numbers represent a number on the scale, 1 through 8. So a C2 would be what? You got the 1, 3, and the 5. What do you think a C2 means? Well, you're basically adding the 2. Most of the time you take away the 3. Okay, so it makes a really nice, colorful chord there, and that's still a C chord. Okay, 1, 2, 5. Or you can add the 3 with it, which is nice as well. So if you add your bass octave with that, right? So that's adding the 2. What's interesting about that 2, it's a wonderful addition to any chord, right? So if you go up to the 4 major, 1, 3, 5, you add your 2, or you go to the 5, 1, 3, 5, and you add in the 2. Okay, so that adds that 2 color, which is super fantastic. The other thing that you can add is a sustain. So if you see a C, S-U-S, that means sustain. And a sustain basically takes your 3 and moves it up a half step. Okay, so you're going to hit your 4, and that is a sustain. And it's sustain because you can feel it wanting to come back to the 3. It's like it's pulling you down, right? So every single chord can have a sustain, which is the 4th note in the scale. Okay, so what makes it interesting about the F? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So that's your F scale, and we have an F major. So when you do a sustain, it's going to take got your sustain there. Take the 4 and bring it to the 3. All right, so these two color notes can be inverted as well. So if you've got a 1, 2, 5, invert it down like this: 1, 2, 5, 2, 5, 1, 5, 1, 2, 1, 2, 5. So as you start learning how to play these different inversions of the same C, if you see a chord chart that says C, you can do, these are all answers to the question of play C. I can play C like this. So 3, 5, 1, 2, 5, 1, 1, or 5, 1, 2, 1, 3, 5. All of that is an answer to the question of play a C. So if you're just coming to the keyboard and saying, okay, I'll play a C, 1, 3, 5, that's going to get very boring. That's a 1, 4, 5. Or you can go that's a 1, 2, 5. 1, 2, 5. Right? So again, you're starting to layer in all of these inversions and adding that 2 occasionally, not all the time, right? But you can add that in. The other thing that you can do is what I call twirl your 2 to the 3, right? So you can go, that's really nice too. And sometimes you can just do 2 notes, the 3 and the 5. Right? So one thing I'm doing over here on the left too is instead of 1, 3, 5 or playing those together, I don't play all 3 together very often. I either roll it or just do octave. But you can bring this up so that you're not muddying things up on your left hand and just do a 1 and a 5. And that's a nice bass tone for C. So you get your bass C, you can play it like that. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 notes being played. and then 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you roll it, if you think about it, I'm hitting the 2 and the 3. You're rolling basically notes within that 1, 2, 3, 5, 1, right? And you can roll it up the piano like this. Right? So you can kind of see how those inversions are playing out. See, this is just 1 through 3, 5, 3, 5, 1. And the same thing is in any, again, we're just playing in C, but the reason that we worked on our scales is 1, 2, 3, 1, 5, 1, 2, 3. And this is a 3, 5, 1, 5, 1, 3, 1, 3, 5. So it's the same thing, right? Okay, keep working on those inversions.